All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the After Hours with Farhad and Frederic, my special guest today. Where's my Alessandro Del Piero? Frederic.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
I
Just two
finally
of us
made
today,
it.
man.
Yeah, I finally made it. Like you invited me like a while ago to do one of these things, and scheduling and real life shit got in the way. So I'm happy we get to do this now in your new crib with your
100.
semi new setup.
Yeah, as you guys
Farhad's
can
still
see,
redecorating, by the way.
literally as we speak. I'm having trouble with my background with a stone wall right behind me. Can't get anything to stick, but you know what? It's all right. We'll keep on going. You'll see me tinkering with the lights throughout the show. So I apologize. Let me change this camera real quick. Like I said, welcome to the all new episode of Turin Giants After Hours. This is a show where we get to kick back our shoes and kick up our feet and kick other things and relax and talk about stuff that is not really immediate. So there won't be any post games or no news discussed, but we will be interviewing my friend Frederic here. You've been with us. You've been on the podcast for how long now? Do you even know your starting date?
No, honestly, I
Oh,
don't.
come
It's
on,
Zach
man.
who always reminds me, so shout out to him. He
Shout out
actually
to
also
Zach.
keeps track of my episodes and the number count. I made it above 100 though. That's what I'm sure of because Zach shouted that out just a while ago. So, but in terms of no, it was very, how shall I say this? Fluid. Like you posted something in Reddit, I responded, and I think the night after I was in chat with you guys and was my first tryout or something.
It was beautiful. It was a
And
thing of beauty.
I wouldn't call it a thing of beauty, to be honest, but it was a nice start to just getting to meet you guys and see what, the whole vibe was. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I think that's the main reason why I'm still here and still enjoying it. I think that's the biggest takeaway, even though the results as we expected have not come in yet or the trophies or whatever. And I don't know. I
Yeah.
still love it. I consider you guys friends, so I'm happy to be here and let you. What was the term that I used? Gazed into my soul today. Um,
Yeah,
but
we shall be doing some gazing. So what else we'll be talking to Frederic for those of you who maybe not gotten enough info about him. I know people are familiar, the listeners are familiar with your opinions and what you're all about, and then we've been enjoying having you here on the podcast, obviously. But we'll find out a little more, a little of your background with Juventus as a Juventus fan, not with Juventus, but there's an article about Fabrizio Romano that I dug up on. I barely go on Twitter, but I found this really interesting. It was a real diss track towards Fabrizio Romano. I wanted to find out your opinion on him. We will be doing on the spot segment where, for the first time in history, a guest told me, "You need to go harder. These questions are nothing. You need to gunpowder is."
yeah, gunpowder.
Gunpowder is a term that was actually used. So we'll do that. Yeah, next hour and change, you guys can kick back your shoes with us. I don't know why I keep going back to kick. I'm literally barefoot right now, so probably having a bunch of glass behind me. My Chiellini just fell on the floor and shattered. There's so many pieces of glass on the floor. I probably shouldn't be in my socks, but here we go. No pun intended. Frederic, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. You are one of the reasons that we were able to make that happen. We repeat that. I don't think we shouted out that statistic on our after hours show yet. So I congratulate you again.
Thank
Big
you so
deal.
much. But
And
yeah,
that was quick too, and that was fast too. So props.
yeah, but I don't feel like it was partially due to me or whatever. I think we operate as a team, and I know You put in a lot of work in between, the things that you need to do in real life. Zach as well. Like shout out to Zach once again. Like he's a machine in that respect. Also Kev, traveling all
Look,
around
look,
the
look at the
world.
comment here.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't want to respond. I don't want to give him
Speaking of
any
Zach,
clout anymore. He has enough clout. But no,
Zach,
honestly,
Zach
like
is telling me to grill his ass. I don't think we can grill him. I just said that he wanted tougher questions. There was, questions
yeah,
like we usually ask our nice guests not to scare them away. But Frederic is like, you know what? Let's do this.
bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, I've nothing
Bring
to
it on.
hide. Like I have no shame in that respect. So let's go. If people
That's
want
why
to
we
know
love you.
something about me or whatever, I'm here for it, man.
You know what? I wanted to ask our audience if they can come up with a question that you can pick it. You can pick a question that is just personal enough where we can see the inside of Frederic. But we've got plenty of questions. How about we start really soft here? How about we start
Yeah.
with what was your influence as far as becoming a Juve fan? Everybody has an Juve origin story. What is yours?
Yeah. Oddly, my dad was a Juve fan. So the mechanism goes well together. But I
Sure.
wasn't really into Juve up until my think was my fifth year or something. Like I wasn't the type of kid that was, flexing Juve jerseys when he was two already or those kind of things. And my dad was pretty laid back in that sense. Like he followed everything football wise because it was actually, and 80s, beginning of the 90s. It was the heyday for Italian football as a whole.
Mm.
You had the Milan Barcelona final at a point and whatever, and I got interested in football as a whole. But when I was 5 or 6, I went, to visit a local Juventus club where they played the Juventus games because you didn't have all this digital stuff that we have right now. And I saw my dad being emotional. I guess I never seen my dad being emotional in that sense. He was very distant, cold, but he was full of emotion for those 90 minutes, and that triggered
Was there a
something in
particular
me.
game where you saw him when you saw him being
It
especially
was it was it was a shit game. I think it was against Perugia or the likes, like some shitty, almost soon to be Serie B team.
Mhm.
But like the passion that I saw, because my dad was like very reserved and very quiet, and all of a sudden for an hour and a half long, he went like full on berserk in God mode, and I thought this is something that intrigues me. Why this team? Why not Milan? Why not? You had a very good Torino side at that time in history. You had a very good Roma side, whatever. And I asked him that same question years later to come, and he said, "Well, it's something about Juventus that sparked something in me from even when I
Mm.
was a kid. It's like this David versus Goliath story almost. Everybody is set out to basically destroy you by any means necessary, but you just won't stop. You keep fighting. You keep, bringing the heat and whatever. And I think that was the same thing that basically won me over as well.
I mean, look behind me, the scarf, La Fine, continues to this day. I love the same. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing when that's why I did my best with my son to introduce him to Juve, and it's a bond like no other. And I'm sure there's fans of other clubs that associate themselves with their parents introducing them. Um, well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. As a man, I don't know if I wanted to bring it up right away, but I did want to find out. Um, Juve fans have plenty of heartbreak to go around. There's
Oh, and
no
then and
shortage
then
of
some,
games that really tore us. What's that?
and then some.
Yeah, and then some for sure. Uh, we'll switch it up real quick, but then we'll talk about the happy stuff. Is there a particular game that gave you a heartbreak that you're yet to recover from?
like you said, there are a lot of moments for us as Juventus fans, but for me personally, the one that hit the closest to home was the loss in the final against Dortmund, the 3-1, I think it was,
Mm,
with the Del Piero back
sure
heel.
was. That's
Um,
right.
I don't know why. I think it was because I assume that I've relived the Ajax game prior to that, where we won the Champions League, and I pretty much assumed that Juventus were just going to crush it, and this was like a night that was gonna live on forever. We had all things planned in terms of celebrating and whatever, and
Hmm.
not getting that and the way it came about, and actually not having a decent chance in order to win that final, that really hit me. And it was the first time that my superhuman team got beat in a game of high importance, and it was a disillusion
Do,
for me to
I
yeah,
probably should
sorry.
know that as a Juve fan, but do you know why Del Piero didn't start that game? Because I clearly remember he came on and scored right away. Because I'm looking it up
uh
right now. It's May 28th, 1997. Yeah,
yeah.
I think I did shed some tears too as a kid. Yeah, 3-1. That dagger. What's his name?
Oh, the last one,
La,
the
Lars Riken.
yeah,
The little
last weekend,
Jovinko
yeah, yeah,
lookalike. He scored
yeah.
that goal and then dipped. If you have hasn't been seen since, and
No, we had
yeah,
enough
it's a
to live on
shame.
from that point. But yeah, I don't know why he didn't start, to be honest. And at that time, Del Piero was regarded as one of the upcoming talents, so it wasn't
Hmm.
like we are hoping for him like we do now with Kenan. Like we're always hoping for Kenan to have one of those magical nights. But we were
Hmm.
so good back then as a unit that you didn't need that special person to step up. You just knew that we were, as a team, good enough. And I think our inferiority complex and the losing final streak started there mentally. I think a lot of people didn't recover from that.
Yeah, that was a shame, especially when Del Piero came on and scored that back heel, which was so crazy. And it's so sad because whenever they show top 10 best Champions League finals goals, that one and Mandzukic is always in it, and it's so bittersweet. The goals are beautiful, no doubt, but man, it's heartbreaking
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
that we didn't capitalize, and those
No.
goals are kind of for nothing, which is such a
Yeah.
shame. Man, what else can we talk about this final here? Let's look at the starting 11 of Juve: Peruzzi, Porini, Ferrara, Montero, Giuliano, Deschamps, Delivio, Jugovic, Zidane, Vieri, and Bokšić. Yeah, Del Piero sure didn't start.
Yep.
He came on 46 minutes and scored right away. Kids, if you don't do anything today, if you do anything today, go look at Del Piero's goals. Really, it's a thing of beauty, and
Yeah.
the blue jerseys with the stars on the shoulders. Man, that would have been so sweet. But yeah, I that for sure is top 5 heartbreaks in history. But I want to take a look at switching gears. Hold on, I have a sound here for switching topics. It's very underused. So I was digging in uh, one of the Juve websites here, and March 10th came up. March 10th, 2017. I want you to reminisce here with me. This was a
Yeah.
game against Milan. By the way, by any chance, I know you are an encyclopedia of Juve knowledge. Do you remember the score by any chance? Serie A, Juventus Milan. I will flip if you
2017.
2017. Yes, sir.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank,
That's
to be
it's all
honest.
good. So it's all good. It's um
Was it Milan Juventus or Juventus Milan?
Juventus Milan. I apologize. We played at home. Friday, March 10th,
Wasn't that
Juventus Stadium.
the the late, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm actually drawing a blank, but I think it was the late
No,
Dybala penalty.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Alessandro Belpiero is impressed. Yes, sir. Juventus Milan 2-1. Benatia, 30th minute. Bacca, 43rd minute. And Dybala's penalty in the 97th minute. Do you, by any chance, remember who conceded the penalty?
The goalie, you mean? Or what do you mean?
Who gave the penalty away for Milan? Which is a kind of a hilarious answer if you think about it. It was De Sciglio. De Sciglio's handball.
It was a handball. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, and it was pre-VAR, so it was quickly forgotten, but it was an obvious one. I do remember. Like there was no discussion.
Another reason why it was pre-VAR is because Milan's goal is actually offside. Which the little summary of the game says Juventus deservedly won the game because there was a few calls that didn't go our way. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to go on back, and especially, I mean, the last few years there's not games that really stand out for us. That one game that I beating Inter at home this last September or something is a memorable game. But I love to go back and remember those games where, let's read the starting 11 here and reminisce a little bit. Buffon, Barzagli, Bonucci, Benatia, 4 Bs in a row, Asamoah, Pjanic, Khedira, Dani Alves, Dybala, Piazza. So Piazza or Piazza? Piazza.
I think it's Piazza, yeah.
And of course, Higuain. Higuain had I was watching the highlights of the game. Higuain had this overhead shot that was this close to hitting it. Would have been a beautiful game. A beautiful goal. Yeah. That game. That team was stacked, man. Benatia scoring. You have any memories of Benatia?
I have fond memories of Benatia because I also know that he scored in the Coppa Italia final, if I'm not mistaken.
Who can forget?
I think it was the year after that. Also against Milan. I think the Coppa Italia.
Right. That's where you get the famous video of a kid doing the Bonucci celebration, the rinse your mouth celebration. Yeah. That game was so good. I still remember where I was watching it. It was a total beating of Milan. I think Milan back in 2017 was still kind of a banter club. Of course, they couple of days ago they beat Inter, like 3rd game in a row, or they're unbeaten in the last 7 games or something against Inter. But yeah, back then I was watching the highlights. Donnarumma was in goal. I know that he was so young and doing insane things and saving impossible goals. But yeah, Dybala, cold from the spot. All right, where's my gong here? Something. Of course, you started the show. You started our podcast as Freddie Scoops, which you do not like. Admittedly, you do not like that nickname. Is there any chance that I deleted already? No. Is there any chance I can play it one last time and we'll retire the sound drop?
I don't know if you have to retire the sound drop. I think people are getting used to it. And if the people like it, then who am I to intervene? But play it one more time. It's been a while.
Let's do it.
And now, Freddie Scoops with the scoop. He's the best in the business, see?
I see you like it, you bastard. You like it. Freddie Scoops,
I grow fond of it. I've grown fond of it. Let me put it that way.
Let me tell you, it was done out of love. There's no malice intended. But you, as an inside source on our network here, Turin Giants Network, you're familiar with bringing the news before they hit the wire. Of course, the Scoop is a popular show. Speaking of Zach, you guys do a show which I highly recommend. If you're a transfer geek, there's no show better. Like, no joke. It's a gem of our network called The Scoop. Oh, look at this!
Thank you so much.
You can even buy even buy a T-shirt, Scoop, with an awesome slogan in the back. TurinGiants.com. Please go ahead and purchase yours to support the boys. So this is an article that I brought up. You're the Fabrizio Romano of our of our podcast, but you actually didn't steal the famous tagline, the catchphrase. Do you know that it wasn't his? Do you know that "Here we go" is not his?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So there's this journalist, Nick Harris. He's on Twitter at Sporting Intel. So man, bitter article here. I have a little summary here of it. So basically, he's calling him a journalist and in air quotes. He's more of an influencer. He's dealing with some shady people. He has 100 million followers across the platforms, including X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. His popularity comes largely from posting transfer news and rumors, often very quickly and repeatedly during transfer windows. So he's not a traditional journalist because he has not worked in a typical newsroom or investigation role. Often aggregates information from other journalists or sources, sometimes without clear attribution. What's your thought on Fabrizio Romano, especially you? You know, we are friendly on this podcast with Romeo Agresti, who's our GOAT here on the podcast. But a couple of minutes, let's talk about. Let's talk about Fab.
You know, Fabrizio does it differently. Created this whole new niche, I think, where he just constantly hands out dopamine shots to people. In terms of info, very short, very concise, and I think he does a good job. I know some of his connections. He does have a lot of connections. I'm not going to argue there, and he found a way to make it last all year around, and gain some financial advantage over that too. So kudos to him, and I know his sources are trustworthy, at least for 70%, and he just found out a way to make it gimmicky in a sense, which is by no means meant as a negative point, but he saw a hole in the market. He took advantage with the connections that he has. I only pray to God that because I followed him in his beginning years and his English was so poor, like it was unbelievable. I'm praying to the grammar gods above me that he'll take the time to polish up some of his English. But I'm not negative about him. He's a good guy. He has his info. He uses it, and there's that. I mean,
so you're not.
Do I like a lot of people? No. Why would I want to hate on somebody that I don't know?
Fair enough.
He must be doing something right with the amount of followers he has. And I just know for a fact that I've beat him to it a couple of times, especially human related, which is not me bragging or anything, but I just want to make that clear. Maybe I should. I'm better than Fabrizio. No.
Do you remember what you beat him to?
Oh, I can't remember. I know Zach will know. Because Zach is like
in the comments here.
I'm not an encyclopedia. Zach is an encyclopedia.
Zach, help us out. Help us out. Figure out what Frederic beat Fabrizio Romano. You need a catchphrase. Come on.
Catchphrase. I need a catchphrase.
Do you have any?
No. I'm not.
That'll be hilarious.
The marketing, the thingy, like that's just not who I am. Like, I don't know. You guys can come up with some. I'll happily use it or whatever, but I'm not. The spotlight's not for me, to be honest. I'd rather stay deep in the shadows and provide the people with some info than to get all. But scooping time, as much.
It's scooping time. You have to
that's
have
a good one.
Ice cream scoop in your hand too.
That's a scoop one. And Zach replied, we beat him to both Jonathan David and Bernardo Silva.
Boys doing the Lord's work. Like I said, check out the scoop on our YouTube channel. YouTube.com/
And there's your two scoops.
That's right.
We're getting some gold in chat right now.
Getting a what?
Getting some golden comments. Zach says, and there are 2 scoops. There's your 2 scoops. I like it. I like it. We'll have to
Uh-oh.
think
We
about it.
got we got Colo sighting. Dan Colosimo. Wow, they stopped clapping really abruptly. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. But you know what? In Fabrizio's case, it's like, it's cliche, but the quote from Batman, you live long enough to become a villain or something like that. I mean, people started turning on him pretty quickly pretty recently from what I remember. It's what here we go merchant, and but it's quotes from Twitter, which is like the most toxic place on earth. But yeah. Definitely people are not enchanted by him like we once were. Freddie said go is one of the suggestions here.
Yeah, that's nice. Also, I like the Dan question. Maybe you could read that out loud for the people that
Let's do
listening.
it. So Dan Colosimo, Fred, was there ever a signing that Juve was really close to that the public didn't know about and it ended up never happening? Good question. Thanks, Dan.
There's a lot actually. There's a
There was
whole
even
bunch.
one that I posted and we didn't come true.
Which one was that?
Icardi
Oh yeah. Icardi was last minute. But
recently.
these things happen. Yeah, but these things happen like a lot because, like I said, and I tried to explain it during the scoop shows as well. There are so many factors that you need to, take into account. Like you have to get a deal with the club, you have to get a deal with the player. Now you have the manager, the managers or whatever they're called, like the personal managers of the players that need their piece of the pie
Sure.
as well, and it's so difficult to. But there's one signing I wish happened, and it was very close to happening. Not I think not too long ago, to be honest. Think it was, let me see, I think it was 2022 or 23, can't remember. And we had a couple of belters coming in. We had Sergio Ramos
Oh wow.
back then, like the younger Sergio Ramos. I think it was the season that Bonucci went to Milan. Can't remember, but it was Sergio Ramos at that point, which was very, very, very close. It was all but a done deal, and then Real
Interesting.
Madrid up their asking price by 250%. Like
Oh
I
my
think 2
goodness.
days prior to his medical, even, and then everything was blown out of the water.
Would you would you would
And
you have liked to have Sergio Ramos at Juve?
at
Look,
that
listen
point
to
in
me like
time, I
a
would.
Spaniard, Sergio Ramos.
That was Sergio Ramos or Sergio Ramos at his prime back then. So I don't think I wouldn't mind him as a player, but it was something that didn't gain any media traction because it was a deal that was set up in like 2 days. And at the first phone call, Sergio Ramos was convinced, Real Madrid was convinced. It was all going smoothly, even too smooth, some might say. And then I think they booked his medical because it happened on a Friday. They got into an agreement on Friday. They couldn't do I don't think they could do it on Sunday, the medical. So they postponed it till Monday or Tuesday. And then the day before he was set out to leave to Turin for the medical, nothing was signed yet, just a gentleman's agreement with air quotes. Real Madrid upped the price by 250%. And
Jeez.
just didn't happen back then. And I remember vividly that Agnelli was furious.
Yeah, I
Furious.
know. I remember that. Of course, I'm no fan, but as a player, people were saying he would bring toxicity to the locker room. It's not worth it. Blah blah blah. I don't know. It would have been super interesting to see. I know many of those people who were saying he's not Juve material and all that stuff. I think they would have changed their minds. And that was which year you said? 2017. You said?
22.
22. Oh
22,
wow. Well, he was at the Inter Milan game
21,
yesterday or
22.
2 days ago.
I have no idea anymore. And another one which I think a lot of people will know. Well, I'm not too sure about if when our Belgian friend Dries Mertens prior signing for Napoli, we
Hmm.
almost had him after those amazing seasons at PSV. We had a verbal agreement with his management, with him, and something happened. I don't know what. I can't recall it, but we decided not to go. We had some doubts about him being Serie A worthy,
Hmm.
and we chose to not do it, and the rest is history. And I would have loved me a prime Dries Mertens at Juve, to be honest.
Yeah, that would have been sweet. It's so crazy how, especially recently with McTominay being at Napoli, it's crazy how the appeal to go to Napoli really changed. The players say the best things, and sadly, last few years you don't get that good PR about Juve, but Napoli somehow just seems to be uh, loving their players. The fans are so kind to them and happy with them. So I feel like for
Yeah,
years
but
to come that McTominay aura is gonna pay off for Napoli
it,
for a long time.
it started with Dries, to be honest, because I spoke to him, and he said like Napoli in terms of the city and climate and the things you get done, or the way that you're adored by not just
Hmm.
the ultras, or the people that visit the stadium regularly, but also just the people down the street, the nonna who makes handmade pasta,
Hmm.
or the butcher who provides you with prime rib just because you're Dries Mertens. Those are the things that tend to push people over, and in that sense, Napoli has been a bit mellowed down. That now you're able to walk the streets, or at least the
Hmm.
the, the better part of the streets of Napoli, without being harassed too much. And I think that there's a main attraction there, because once April starts, you have nice weather,
Hmm.
laid back vibe, almost a vacation kind of atmosphere. You have the city that basically adores you if you just pull your weight for the jersey. So I can see the attraction, and if you add that to the fact that they are now able to spend due to their sporting success, and they get to pay hefty transfer fees, and get to pay out some decent salaries and wages, then it's a winning formula you have. And
Yeah.
and not too long ago, it was us up there with the big salaries and transfer fees and whatever. And yeah, everything comes and goes in cycles. So we'll be back soon.
We'll be back, baby. But as a city, last note on Naples. As a city, I know people either love it or they hate it. Where do you fall? I've never been. I would love to go, but I want to know your opinion about the city of Naples. Are you with
No,
that
but
pause?
it's difficult because I could see the attractions in Naples, especially the seaside area.
Hmm.
Right outside, you have Positano, you have the nicer part, you have I don't know what's the little city called just outside of Naples. So
Hmm.
it's a charming view, but I've seen better in terms of I wouldn't spend my holidays there necessarily. And to me, the accent, the people, the anti-Juve atmosphere is just too much. Like if I go on holiday, I want to be able to wear my jersey
Hmm.
like wherever I am, doesn't matter, because I'm not in fan mode then. I'm in vacation mode, and I just,
Hmm.
have a jersey of the team that I love. So, to have some fear that you'll be scrutinized for that while walking around in your flip-flops, to me is a bit much. So
But when
it's nice.
when you say dislike for Juve, it's more than dislike. I mean, it's straight up hate.
It's
Didn't they
hatred. It's
didn't they hang Higuain's like a mannequin or something or
yeah,
some
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
that's the level
yeah,
we're
they
talking.
it's above and beyond. And in that respect, I wish we as Juventus supporters had a tad of that, like that influence, that passion. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have passionate fans, but not in the sense that, Napoli fans would tear down the city if they lost 5 straight games or something like that. They want to see heads roll literally and figuratively, and we're a bit more mellow in that aspect. And I'd like to see a bit of that fire and pepper being transferred
Yeah.
to our side, but
Yeah, which is
that's the
crazy
way it
because
goes.
when you visit Turin, if you didn't know about Juve, you wouldn't even know that there's a team with 100 plus years of dominance in Italy. It's like, yeah, there's a flag here and there. Tourists wear shirts, and that I always repeat the story where Maurizio, when we went to Turin before around Juventus and around Turin now. We went to visit with my friend Saeed, and Maurizio said, "Don't wear your jerseys. Don't wear your Juve jerseys around town, especially, we go to bars and stuff like that. We're not walking around with our parents where, kids, they won't say anything to kids." But he said, be careful. And I always tell the story. We leave the hotel, shout out to Luca. We leave the hotel, we get on the tram, and it's a tram full of Torino fans. like
Yeah,
like like 20 deep.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, kids,
But it's
listen to
it's it's
Maurizio.
crazy. It's the thing. It was one of the things that they founded Juventus for. They chose not to incorporate the city's name in the name of Juventus because they wanted a club that was accessible to anyone and everyone. And it's a shame that a thing with the purest of intentions and maybe a little bit of romanticism and beauty now turns around and bites you in the ass, so to speak. I think because if it would have been a club strictly set and around for Turin by Turin for people out of Turin, maybe we'd have more of this, I don't know, more fanatical following, which we did back in the 90s. I don't know if you guys have a chance tonight and you're bored, go up and look at some tifo videos of the 90s back at Delle Alpi. There was
The
absolute
Alpi was
chaos,
lit.
mayhem, and it was amazing. So even though it was not the most coziest of stadia and not even the most friendliest in sense of atmosphere, but it was amazing once they took off. But yeah, I mean it's crazy. Turin is a strange city in itself, and I think that's one of the most, and Kevin will agree with me there, one of the things that attracts a lot of people to Turin, the diversity. And it's so diverse. It's so, you could be standing next to a piece of architecture straight from the 1700s while crossing the street and entering a Louis Vuitton boutique that was just set up there like 10 months ago. So it's really that mix of everything, that diversity that keeps a lot of people coming back, but it's also something that maybe has a bit of a negative impact over our club.
How so?
I think if Juventus was a more close knit team in the sense of really having that Turin stamp on there, I think we would have seen a lot more Juventus supporters coming from inside of Turin and supporting Juventus. Now it's a big, a lot of people from all around Italy coming to watch the games. But I think if we could fill a whole stadium, I think with ultras that were really from Turin, if we had that prior throwback to Turin itself, while we started out as a more of a people's club for everybody. It doesn't matter where you're from and whatever. So
Well, going back to that video the game we talked about, March 10th against Milan, I think this was one of those games where the ultras protested. I mean, there was definitely cheering, but man, that area behind the goal is empty, and yeah, it's a shame. What were prime years, do you think, for Curva Sud at the new stadium?
the first three.
First three, because I remember, now we have flags in the back, the big area. But I remember where flags were even in the second tier. I mean, when we went to watch the game against Real Madrid when we won 2-1, 2015, I want to say. What we barely could see from the second tier. There was so many flags waving around.
It's still like that, but you only have the Curva Sud now, whereas it's this collection of scattered smaller fractions of ultras that join forces. While in the beginning you had Curva Nord, Curva Sud, you had basically two curvas filled with the ultras that belong there. Like Curva
Yeah.
Sud was always Drugi, Curva Nord was Irriducibile, Bravi Ragazzi, and a bunch of them. So you had that rivalry going in a sense, but you also had that shared passion and love, and they were kind of like feeding off of each other. And you could feel it on the pitch as well, because no matter
Hmm.
which goal you were going to, there was a curva. There were like ultras
Yeah.
shouting, singing the songs, shouting your names, and it's kind of a pity that it's now reduced to just the curva sud, because I like
Yeah.
that idea of having two curvas and that sense of electricity no matter where you turn. And then you have the
Yeah.
neutral spots, which is fine. You have the people taking selfies and holding up their kids and whatever, which is cool with
Hmm.
me. But there was this type of aggressiveness that you had at the Juventus Stadium in the first 3 years that rivaled the Delle Alpi heydays, because I know from a lot of players back in the day, they were often afraid to come up to play at Delle Alpi because of the
Hmm.
menacing vibe and the chaos and the atmosphere. And we kind of recreated that in a modern or more modern stadium on our own terms. And I kind of got lost during all these bullshit allegations
Protests.
and protests and scattering of ultras and Agnelli wanting to get rid of ultras and whatever, and banning this and banning that and banning this, and then
Well, I feel
I don't know.
like I feel like he wanted to go the Real Madrid route because it's no secret that Agnelli was a big admirer of Florentino Perez and what they're doing at Real Madrid, and I don't want to speak on that, but something happened where they cleared out all the ultras, Real Madrid. Now you have to be there and everyone's wearing white or something like that going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He wanted a little cleaner curva, which is a shame. It kind of instead of
In a
growing
sense,
throughout these years, the support was dying somehow.
in a sense, Agnelli was right in terms of financial vision as well, because it's better to not have a curva and make all these seats a bit more, let's say, expensive and being
Hmm.
filled up with people with families who just want to watch a football game. But Agnelli's statement about that was that he didn't think that this would last. That a lot of people in the modern ages don't want to watch a whole game of football. They just want the quick dopamine shots and the highlights, and they want to be comfortable and look at a team. But that doesn't gel with the Turin mindset or the ultra mindset, and you just cannot take away a group that has supported for many years this club and this city, and just say, well, we're done with you. You can fuck off right now. That just doesn't work. So gradually it became the Curva Sud as we know it today, with a lot of atmospheres that can testify to that. But it's been reduced to what it was. And I know in the heydays of the first 3 years of the Juventus Stadium, the electricity that the fans gave the squad was unrivaled. And
Yeah,
that
and what
was
happened to
part
the
of our success.
tifo? What happened to tifos too, man? I don't know why we can't produce a decent tifo. Like how is that uh, not a thing that we do anymore? Even though they were kind of club,
Shitty?
were there were some good ones. No,
No, no,
the
no,
one
no.
the picture with the picture with Allegri and in the background it's anti-Inter tifo with the circus and the clowns. I thought that was awesome.
That was a good one, but I remember the Barcelona final with the hands grabbing the trophy,
Oh, yeah,
like
that was
those
cringe.
alien hands, or what was it? Or then you have the fino alla fine misspelled, or the black and white stripes that just go like this
Hmm.
for some
Hmm.
strange reason. I don't know. I
Like
think it's
kids now,
miscoordination.
like kids say nowadays. Bro thought he cooked.
Yeah, but he didn't cook. He
Yeah,
overcooked. He undercooked. But
undercooked.
no, I don't have any recollection of part of the tifo. But now it's gotten so serious that you can't even wear scarves with some messages on them. Like
Yeah, it's a
they
shame.
actually check your scarves for what's written on there if you
Oh
enter the
wow.
stadium. So it's
Speaking of tifo, one man who was given a personal tifo at the stadium back in the day, Mario Mandzukic, back at the stadium, looking good, man.
yeah
He's not one of those. He's there. There's two types of footballers. After they retire, they go to shit. They become Snyder. No
yeah
shame. But I'm just saying he let himself
yeah
go.
yeah
And
yeah
then there's Cannavaro, who's looking younger every day. That bastard.
yeah.
That. So there's
Yeah.
two types of footballers, but Mandzukic seems to have kept the youth in.
Mandzukic,
So
yeah, and I think Mandzukic still lives, breathes, and bleeds football. I think that's the difference. I think a lot of these professional players, after a while, need to take a step back from professional football to kind of decompress. And once you let go of that, and you're kind of stress free, and there's not a lot of pressure on you, you tend to let yourself go and say,
yeah,
well, I've been dieting for so long. I've been, not going out for this long. So now I can finally do it. And then they go overboard and in excess. While Mario Mandzukic, I think he'll remain the same guy we knew climbing the walls of the
oh
Tifo
my goodness.
uh, till the day he dies. I think that'll be Mario Mandzukic to a T. And that's why I love him.
I love him too, man. He's my. It's dangerous to say top 10 favorite Juve players, but top 15 for sure. He's my number
Yeah.
11 favorite player. I mean, just the memories. I think we never recovered from when we lost him. Was it who got rid of him? And do you think we got rid of him just in time? Because, like I said before, you live long enough to be a villain.
Yeah.
If he stayed with Juve for longer, he would have become one of those villains?
I think it was kind of over with him, and I think he could see as well. And it wasn't like a breakup in a bad fashion or anything.
Not at
It
all.
was kind of mutual, even. But he said, "Yeah, I want to play, and I know that I won't get a lot of chances now." And yeah, so he moved on, and rightfully so. But a part of me just wishes that if we had a player like him with the same mentality,
And
I'd be.
sometimes it takes
I,
one player to change the locker room, and
I'm sorry,
which is
I didn't hear you that last
uh,
time, Farhad.
I said it. Sometimes it takes that one player to change the atmosphere in the locker room for the better. You think we're lacking that one guy, and
Yeah,
Who's the closest quote unquote loud voice in the locker room right now? You think Locatelli is the guy?
he's becoming that guy alongside with Kelly.
Really?
Yeah, and still Dusan
Okay. Are you excited
not
about him coming
being
back?
excited is not the word that I would choose. I'm curious. I'm
Okay.
curious to see because we tend to bash on Dusan rightfully so. He's not the best striker in the world. He'll never be the best striker in the world. But the last couple of years have been rough for him as well in the sense that you had three coaches being thrown into the mix. I mean, it was a new coach every other season. Players coming and going, or you got players that weren't up to par. And you just had to make do with whatever you got in that box. And it was difficult, I feel. And I'm pretty sure Spalletti's looking forward to him coming back. That I do know.
Okay. Okay.
Spalletti can't
Interesting.
wait. Spalletti can't wait.
He's- You think bro is gonna cook?
We'll see. He has the aura too. to throw in another fashion word.
We're throwing around all the buzzwords today. I love it.
See, I'm still cool. I'm still cool.
Yeah, man. We may look old, but we're cool inside. Damn it! And I was thinking about it. All of us on the podcast are our fathers, and we're the millennial crew. So that we got that going for us. Of course, it wouldn't be Turin Giants After Hours without throwing in some maybe uncomfortable questions, but that's what our man wants. We're gonna go through I need a sound drop for the on the spot segment. Maybe this. It's supposed to be an explosion. Frederic, there's a lot of questions, a lot of things we don't know about our man. And people, don't forget in the comments. Give us a couple good questions that Frederic will pick. I'm not going to be the judge. So, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, you came in, it was go, 1,000 followers, the scoop, it's black and white, you got shows going on. We didn't really get a proper introduction into the mind of Frederic. We'll give you a couple questions here. I love this. I don't know why I love this question. Speaking of being a millennial and an old fart, is there a slang word from back in the days that you would love to bring back? Or bonus, if you still use it to this day, even though it's super uncool.
Well, it's different because, well, as you know, I'm not a native English speaker, but
couldn't tell.
Yeah.
not a joke. I'm serious. Your English is fantastic.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I think it sucks donkey balls, but apart from that,
you're good.
We'll make do. But no, because we have this influence here that our the Dutch language or the Dutch language that we speak in these parts is kind of influenced by the Italian a lot of times. So we tend to mix Italian and Dutch, and an abbreviation for Madonna, which basically means the Virgin Mary, is getting thrown out a lot, and especially when I was younger, and it was like Mado, like it could mean anything. It was like what's that New York thing, like forget about it, like that could mean anything.
Maron is a big thing here too in like Italian communities in New York. Just watch The Sopranos. I'm sure there's a YouTube video where Sopranos compilation of them saying Maron, So, but you guys say it with a D, with a hard
with a D,
D pause.
With a harder D, and that's something I don't want to see coming back. I feel it sounds ridiculous because everybody used it. Like even if you had no bond to Italy or whatever, like Mado, and I was like, so and then the I don't know. We didn't use that many slang words, I feel, back in the day, and then I'm curious to know what a typical slang word in your state is, or which you used throughout your teen years.
Chicago is known. I mean, you can go online and find out what Chicago, like people, quote unquote, in the hood, what they popularized. Chicago has a lot of cool slang that people use, don't even know that came from here. Damn, I don't want to Google on the podcast, but look it up. I mean, goofy. They say goofy a lot when someone's just being stupid. They say stop acting goofy. That's one that comes to mind. But of course, Chicago's big on slang.
I wanted to say. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this just comes to mind. Like we had this dinner with Maurizio from around Turin when we were visiting, like Zach, me, Kev, and Maurizio, and Luca as well. And Maurizio expressed his undying love for Chicago. Like he said, it's the most beautiful city in the world to me.
I can literally have a podcast dedicated to Chicago. And I'm not even a native. I lived in Los Angeles for 13 years. It doesn't even compare, my love for Chicago, and that's why I wanted to have all of you guys. Maybe next year we should do a Turin Giants meetup live episode in Chicago, because in the summertime, nothing beats Chicago. And I'm in the US, and I respect all of the tourists that they either go to LA, New York, and they make time for Chicago, or they just come to Chicago because you wake up on your day off in the summertime. You can wake up at 7 a.m. You can go to bed at 3 a.m. You wouldn't be bored 1 second being in Chicago because it's absolutely insane. But Maurizio's a liar because he loves Detroit, and every time Detroit beats either Green Bay, my favorite football team, or something happens, he's a big fanboy of Detroit. Speaking of which,
Giants up for Detroit, a lovely city.
That's, of course, drop that Zach would enjoy, a Detroit native.
I feel a musical question coming up, or was this random?
No, this was random. This was dedicated to Detroit.
Okay.
But let's move on. I mean, I think we spent a lot of time on the first question. Your musical tastes. Tell us your preferred, not brand, type of music, and then maybe your favorite artists.
I listen to a lot of different genres depending on my mood. But I have to say the one closest personally to my heart, or the one that I identify the most with, is either hip hop, like the end of '90s, kind of early 2000 ones, or metal. I'm a huge metal fan, and I know a lot of people wouldn't think that of me, because I'm not the average metal dude that you see. But I grew up on metal. I still listen to metal. I have some awesome stories about metal. Was in a metal band myself, and
Nice. What'd you play?
I was vocalist.
Oh wow! What?
I was the resident screamer. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh, we need to get a scream. We need to get a sound drop of you scream. Of you going.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can, bring back those kind of vibes anymore. But it was, in my day, I grew up on it, and I loved it. Still love it. But,
Lucas says in the comments, bald metalhead is a thing.
Yeah, I just need the thick, long beard now. That's the only thing missing.
I love it. Yeah. Well, to be honest, they always say, and I can confirm, metalheads may be crazy when they go to a concert, but they're some of the nicest people you'll meet.
I think that was the attraction back in my day. Like, it was really like this family vibe. You were crowd surfing or whatever, and you had these mosh pits way before it was cool in hip hop to have a mosh pit, and you could see everybody was very helpful, and you could strike a conversation with anybody from any country in the world, and they were like very open and very friendly and helpful. And I think that kind of bounces off and symbiotes with the Juve energy. And but yeah, metal for me. But also there you have different subgenres, and I could listen to, like, I don't know. I'm into what I'm into today, or this Thy Art Is Murder, which is very, very brutal, which is almost like this deathcore kind of thing. But also like The Ghost Inside, and I don't know if anybody knows these kind of bands because I'm just spitting these out. But
you know who would love that is Zaki Stugats, our reserve co-host. He's, man, if you follow him on Instagram, he posts videos and pictures from these bands that they sound so ridiculous, but he's the most soft-spoken, sweetest guy in the world. But he listens to some weird shit, man. It's hilarious. But yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, me too. And I don't know. It's just it's
very interesting
with everything. Yeah, it's just something that ignites this spark inside of me, and I need to have that in anything in life. Like, I need to really feel something in order to devote myself or be committed or be interested by it. I have that with Juventus. I have that with Turin Giants. I have that with my family, which is natural, I guess, but also with metal and other hobbies I have. So yeah.
Very nice. Well, speaking of music, what is your most embarrassing song in your library?
I have so many. I have I think I have a playlist that's called
Do not
Throwback.
play.
No, it's throwback, and it's kind of these 80s, early 90s pop, love, whatever songs. And my wife and I, when we make these kind of far trips, we put that on and just act ridiculous, but we know the words to every song, and we can't help but feel a little like in love with certain songs. Like,
I love
if
it.
I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram, like these guys, when the wife, puts on the Backstreet Boys, and he goes like, "Oh my God, turn it off," and then turns over and starts singing the words to with them. That's basically the same thing. And I
Well,
don't know.
give us an example.
I'll give you. I'll go into my library right now. Oh
Hold
wait,
on one
you
second.
want
I'm
something?
here. I'm just. Yes, I'm listening.
I'm gonna say something embarrassing, if you don't mind, music related and hobby related. I don't know if the people are ready for this,
Let's
but
do
when
it.
I work out, like a lot of people tend to think that I listen to a lot of metal when I work out because that's the thing that gets you pumped most. But they're so wrong, because my preferred workout music is the Rocky soundtrack
Oh, very nice.
and the Creed one too, which is ridiculous because musically those numbers don't amount to anything, I have to say.
Well, it's so funny you bring it up. Of course, you're a big. What are people who like to work out and lift heavy weights? I wanted to say metalhead, but you're not a metalhead. But um, I sometimes when I go to the gym, the loud music really gets to you, and sometimes I just either turn it down and listen to some really chill music. Sade comes to mind. So it's listening to chill music at the gym is a thing. It's like that meme with Patrick Bateman walking through the office. The music in my head, the way I walk and the actual music in my headphones don't really match.
No, I just need something that gets me pumped. Like I just need to. I always get angry before I work out.
Okay.
By the way, viewer discretion. I sent Farhad a picture of my post-workout body yesterday because for some reason he asked for it. I'm not going to go into
No, I
details.
didn't.
I have the screenshots. I have the screenshots.
I'm keeping that in a saved folder. Believe me, baby. I
but
was like,
but
damn.
I just need to get pumped, and also that depends on my mood. Like I could go out like this mellow Rocky Four kind of soundtrack and have a good workout, but there are also days that I'm completely stressed or drained, and I just need like that metal, death metal, black metal screams and double bass drums to get me through my sets. And
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
it
Well,
depends once
people in
again.
the comments are people in the comments are demanding that you do a black metal scream. Is that what it's called? Death metal growl or black metal scream.
You could call it a grunt, a growl, a scream, whatever you want. I'll do one, but not today because I have the kids sleeping. I don't want to make them up. But so
I
I'll
got you. I
I'll
got you.
I'll get you'll get a rain check for that. But
I'll
another
keep that in mind.
embarrassing song that I have is "Material Girl" by Madonna,
Oh hell yeah!
"Sexual Healing" by Marvin Gaye, "All Night Long" Lionel Richie, "I Want to Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston,
Oh, you
"Living on a
gotta hit
Prayer"
the high
by
note, baby.
Bon Jovi, "Africa" by Toto, "Conga" from the Miami Sound Machine,
Oh my
"Girls Just
God!
Wanna Have
Okay,
Fun."
that's
I
it.
mean,
That was. I think Miami Sound Machine. I could allow you Marvin Gaye, but Miami Sound Machine, my brother. What are you doing? Love
yeah,
it.
it's a bit far, but I love it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, that's it's all good, man. Music, some people say that there's no such thing as an embarrassing song. If it's a good song, you like it, run with it. But of course, it's a yeah. We all have a
Preference.
couple of tracks that yeah. You also mentioned that you're a gearhead. I don't know if you're a gearhead. I know those people that fix cars, but you do love a good car. Is there a car that if you see someone driving, you immediately judge them?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them except yours.
Yeah. No, no, I don't know. I just think it's a lot of stereotypical people drive stereotypical cars, and my biggest gripe is with the Audi drivers of late.
Okay.
because Audi for me used to be this high-end performance sports car. But now you see everybody and their mom driving an Audi and just not signaling because they have an Audi, or just cutting you off because they have an Audi. Um, and just people buying an Audi because it's the Audi emblem that stands on the bonnet. And, I dislike that. I just want a car with some character, with a nice story to it, something not common. And
Mm-hmm.
I just hate this sheep mentality of, hey, let's go and buy an Audi because it's decent and it's this and it's that, while actually it isn't. Um, and I kind of hate Range Rover people too.
Well, that's
I'm
normal.
sorry,
The-
Range Rover people. I'm very sorry. I just
I'm sure.
no, it just like, if you have the money to spend on a truck,
Hmm.
buy a decent truck. Just don't buy something because a certain badge is on it and it's actually a piece of shit. Go buy a nice Mercedes GLE 63 AMG, which is
Sweet.
10 times the car a Range Rover is, in my opinion.
I love
But
that. Well,
it
you know
comes
what
to
they say.
preference.
You know what they say. You have to have two Range Rovers because one of them will be in the shop, so you can switch back and forth. All right, fair
Yeah.
enough. What is the strangest? I love asking this question, and we've gotten some crazy replies. What is the strangest animal meat you've ever eaten?
I'm
Like
sorry, but my
I've had alligator hot dogs. Taste like chicken,
oh,
but
it does
what's
taste
your
like chicken.
what's your? By the way, I'm going to New Orleans again this weekend, so I might have me another one. But yeah,
Ooh.
sorry to interrupt.
No, 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 it's okay. It's okay. It's interesting to hear that they actually make hot dogs out of alligators.
I
Like, it's
know.
um I had kangaroo, I think.
Oh wow,
Yeah. And
that
snake.
doesn't. Oh man,
Yeah,
interesting.
kangaroo and
Kangaroo
snake.
doesn't sound like it would be good unless there's a bunch of
It's
sauces on
it's
it,
a
right?
it's a bit chewy. A bit too
Where did you have
chewy.
that? I'm guessing Australia.
No, it was an Australian restaurant not far from here. We used to have like this
Oh wow.
authentic Australian restaurant, was about 10 kilometers away from where I live. And they had all these funny things, and every couple of months they switched it up, and they were like, okay, what do you want to eat, and what is there that the people here want to try out. And a lot of people were, screaming, oh, we want kangaroo, we want alligator, we want snake. So they decided to do that, and I had didn't have the alligator, but I did have the kangaroo and the snake.
Oh my god. I've
The
never
snake
heard
was
this.
nice. The snake was
Really?
nice. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie. Yeah,
interesting.
was a kind of a mix in taste between chicken and seafood, like a
Hmm.
weird mix, but it came together, and it was a, I don't know, it was nice. Not to have every day, of course, but to have for a special
Gotcha.
occasion or whatever. But
I can tell you I've never heard a saying Australian restaurant. Like that was the first time I've heard someone go into an Australian restaurant. I guess in Australia they're all Australian restaurants, but I don't know what the Australian national dish is. I know there's Vegemite, but
I,
that's really
I don't I
stereotypical.
don't I don't even think they know. It was kind of a like a big old barbecue pit where they used to
That's true.
throw strange animals on, and that was about it. So, but yeah, it
That's
was nice
because
to have.
I come across Australians, especially Italian Australians, or Australian Italians, I should say. There's a lot of them down there, but yeah, never heard Australian restaurant. Interesting. All right, so Frederic has had kangaroo before. Interesting. What's a pet peeve of yours? What's something that irritates you in your everyday life?
I asked my wife
Hmm.
because I knew that question was coming, and she said, "Well, what doesn't irritate you in real life?" So, and now she's laughing in the background. But a lot of things annoy
I'm
me.
pretty sure it's every wife's answer. My wife would say the
Yeah,
same thing about me.
I think a lot of things annoy me, but what hurts me or what bothers me the most is when people are not friendly. Even strangers, like I often, run about, and I cross somebody in the street or whatever in the shop, and
Hmm.
I just give them a nod or whatever. And you have a lot of people that actually don't do it back, or are just plain rude. And that really bugs me to the extent that I'll be in my bed that same night thinking about why that bastard didn't nod back at me while I was picking up bread at the supermarket. Like, which is crazy because you shouldn't put energy into that. But I just feel that the world would be a much nicer place if everybody was a bit more friendly towards each other. So these kinds of things tick me off. And when my car's dirty, like I have this OCD thing that, oh no, my car's dirty. Let me reserve one day to detail my car fully by myself and not give two tosses about my family or any other plans because my car is dirty, which annoys my wife, but it makes me at times calm. So it's a love-hate relationship on that part.
Little soft moment with Frederic. I love that. I love that you said it irritates you when people are not nice. And in today's world where that is gonna keep happening, and if people don't smile at each other or say hello or little compliments, we need to keep doing that because it will be rare soon if it keeps going, because people are becoming very cold, and I don't like it either.
No, and I always try to have a bit of a smile. Like there are days that I don't feel well either. I struggled with a bit of depression a couple of years back, but I still made that effort to put on a smile, not a fake smile, but just to let people know, hey, I'm open. I'm if you want to converse with me, I'm here.
I love it.
Wish you a good day or whatever. And believe it or not, that got me through some rough moments for me personally as well. So I just love if people are a bit more friendly because it doesn't cost a thing. And you can actually make somebody's day a lot more better by
Absolutely.
just smiling or nodding. So
Absolutely. Hey, man, I love that. I love that answer. All right, let's a little risky question here. We might make people upset. What's the least favorite city you've ever visited? City of bad vibes. I know you're a traveler, so there must have been a city that was like, the fuck is this?
in all honesty, I can appreciate every hidden gem in certain cities, but there's just this. I have a bad vibe with Austria.
I've never been,
I have
but
a
tell me
really
about
bad
it.
vibe with I don't know, like I love the mountains and all the ski areas, but then you get, at some certain point you need to go through the bigger cities. And my sister-in-law lives in one of those, and I drove, and I've been there a couple of times, unfortunately. And every time that I enter, I think like, holy shit, what kind of fucking shithole is this? And
It's a country you don't really hear about a lot. It seems to be a
no,
little closed off.
it's I don't know, it's this weird mix of like it's kind of a ghetto, but we're trying not to be a ghetto. Like, you know what I
Interesting.
mean? And
Is there a
and
particular
it's like
city?
it's Linz. It was the birthplace of Adolf Hitler.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
I mean,
fuck that place.
that kind of spoils the surprise, but no, but you have a lot of like Albanians there, but also a lot of Afghanis, and then you have
Oh
the
wow!
general Austrian population, and they're thrown in this melting pot, hating each other, and the Austrian people want Austria to be Austria, but the Slavic people want more Slavic influences, and then you have
Interesting.
the Afghanis that are just happy that they have a place to stay and they don't give a fuck. So it's kind of, and I don't know, I don't like the food there, and I think that's one of my things that puts me off in terms of a country or a city, because I'm somebody who needs to have a nice meal wherever I go. It could be like regular cuisine, I don't care, but it needs to have this kind of extra thing.
Dude,
And
food is so important when you travel.
yeah,
It's
food for
people
me
don't
is like,
realize how important it is.
no, and Austria just doesn't have that. It's like all this
Austria. All
is
right. I
bland
don't think
and
I don't
get
think we
why
have
I get
Austrian.
why
I don't
Hitler
think we
was
have
upset.
Austrian listeners, but yeah, it's
We do, we
nothing
do, we
nothing.
do, we do.
Oh, do we?
No. I mean, the country
I
itself is
got you.
nice, but I just think that city left such a big mark on me in a negative sense that I associate the whole of Austria, which is unfair, I know, but
Well, the question was a city, so you're right up there. You know what? Let's play this. I love that. We got a couple more questions here. Let's do a little Juve. Again, keeping with the negative side. Is there a Juve player that you genuinely dislike?
past or present or
Give us something. Let's do current. Bonucci.
Bonucci in the past. I don't know why he always came across as dishonest in a way with the things that he says or how he twists and turns things, and sometimes his attitude on the pitch, like it was too, I'm the alpha male, I'm trying to be the alpha male. It was trying too hard in my opinion. Like he wasn't born into leadership, but he demanded, try to get that leadership. Like if you see that clip from Amazon Prime where he's in the dressing room, giving people hell, and a lot of people reacting, that was our leader. That was, no, it wasn't. It was all for show. We knew the camera was there. And so it kind of came across as fake to me. So
and he did get exposed, to be honest. Every time, after Chiellini and Barzagli left, people realized he was not the strongest one in that triangle.
No. And, football wise, I don't try to let footballing abilities come in between my certain love or hate, which is a strong word for a player. But with Bonucci, I had both. I didn't think he was a good defender, to be honest. And as a person, I don't know, we never clicked, even though I never met him, but we never clicked. So now Leonardo. That was the reason why I blew it off. And the current player,
he's my wife's favorite player.
Really?
She absolutely loves him. Yeah. I don't
Why?
know. I don't know. Probably because, she did watch a lot of, to be honest, my wife is a big football fan. Like, she knows her shit. And, like, she loves him for, I don't know, she found him adorable or something.
Must be the buzz cut or the mustache.
Yeah, no, he's one of her favorites. She loved the Matri, and I even have a Matri jersey because she loves him. But who's the other one?
The other one has to be.
Is there a certain goalkeeper you don't like on the current team?
No. It would be easy for me to say DK, but I just think DK is a mediocre keeper, and that's not his fault. And I don't know him personally. I never seen him say a word that's out of place, so I can't fault him at that. But as technical abilities go, for me, he's a mediocre goalie. So I'll leave it at that. But for me, in terms of mentality and whatever, I think right now for me that's Openda. Because if you're,
I can see that.
You're not training, you're not trying your best to be in the team or whatever. You're not sticking your neck out for the team, but you're spamming Instagram with cupping pictures.
That may have been too many cups. If you go back and see, they might have sucked all the blood out of him. I don't know how he got up from that table.
It was a tad exaggerated, I think, but but keep a low profile, man. You're not doing well. Not nearly as well as we thought you do. Be humble, keep your head down, work hard, and stay off socials, especially with these kind of bullshit pictures.
Yeah.
That makes me resent the player. Like searching for attention in the wrong way, that's a big ache for me in modern football.
Good answer. That's why I barely follow any players on Instagram. It's so cringe nowadays where that is part of their career is managing Instagram. If you want some entertainment, go to Lautaro Martinez's Instagram. You will die of cringe. You will actually shrivel up and die because my guy sets up photo shoots like no other. Even barbecuing, the hair is perfectly brushed. The lighting is perfect. He's got the Argentinian grill going, but it's freaking hilarious. Lautaro's Instagram is just pure cringe. Couple more questions, and we'll say goodbye. I wanted to ask you, what's your non-Juve related question here? What is your dish? What is your go-to dish that if Turin Giants podcast listeners came to your house, you'd treat them with this?
It would be stuffed ravioli, but I don't know which stuffing. It depends on the season, depends on the mood, but with a nice butter and sage sauce
Beautiful.
and some lemon.
Are you a wine type of guy who would pair that with a certain wine? Because I know Kevin and Jack on our podcast are the wine guys.
I am, and the thing is, it depends on the stuffing. As I said, it's not the sauce that has to be that powerful. It's the stuffing. So if you go with some sort of meat stuffing, a good, I think we had a good Barolo in Turin. We ordered a Magnum bottle of Barolo when we went out to eat. That was a good one that would perfectly match it, or a nice Sauvignon Blanc. If you have either shell food or something pumpkin related in that ravioli. But I'm a bit of a amateur cook and amateur wine taster myself. Well, I just drink a lot. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm not a wine taster. But the cook part is true. I try to cook a decent meal and try to implement the things that I learned from my grandparents into a more modern jacket. And very oddly, I was close to becoming a chef because when I started high school, I went to this school where they taught you to be a chef. Basically, it was kind of a but
Bro
I was vegan but bro was vegan, so we couldn't because we were obliged to taste everything, which is normal, but I didn't put any thought into that.
Are you still vegan or even vegetarian?
No. I quit because my blood values after 4 years were abnormally bad.
You stuck with it for 4 years?
Yeah, I was even, I don't know if you recollect, at the time I was a vegan straight edge kind of guy, and straight edge was like this movement within punk and metal and hardcore where you don't drink, you don't do drugs, you don't have casual sex, you don't eat meat or whatever. I was that type of guy, and but after a couple of years, my doctor said, this is not going well. It's a serious health hazard that you're putting yourself into. And you need to start getting back, getting some meats because of the iron deficit that you have. Yeah, and then I went all out. I wasn't picky.
And the proteins there's some good grain proteins, but it's like you have to eat a lot to get any kind of muscle mass. But yeah, I've been to a vegan restaurant once, and it's pretty cool. It was LA, that's where everything hippie starts in California. So it was somebody invited me. I really enjoyed it, but I'd never do that. On purpose.
No, been there, done that. We turned over that page, and now it's meat all day, baby.
I'm about to.
Meat's back on the menu, boys.
Oh, damn it! I missed that sound drop. I am so cutting that out. Somebody said we need a sound drop from Frederic. I think we got it. Well, finally, and something Frederic does the best is give us unpopular opinions and stands by it and proves them. To finish up this awesome episode, give us your unpopular opinion about Juventus right now.
My unpopular opinion about Juventus is that we lack everything.
Where would you start?
With the president.
Fixing Juve. President.
Not the owner, the president, because an owner can be anybody who just throws money at a club and doesn't have really an impact on the team. I think what Juventus, or what made Juventus successful in the past, was that their presidents were part of the club. They were there every day. They checked in on players, coaches, staff, management, whatever. And I don't feel that we have the president that really embodies Juventus history and DNA. And if you as a president don't have that quality, how can you expect the players who are there for a couple of seasons or years, or coaches or staff, to feel that. And I think that was Andrea Agnelli's biggest quality. He was with Juventus from, the moment he could walk. He lived throughout everything that happened in
Literally.
those moments. Yeah. And he took up the gauntlet and actually gave over that whole vibe to everybody that was involved. And apart from the wrongdoings or the mistakes that he made, which I will always forgive him, because in my opinion, everybody makes mistakes. But he did it from out of love and from out of, trying to do good for Juventus and the city of Turin as well, because they were intertwined. And I'd start there and then worry about CEO, management, players, and whatever. But you really need to have that big captain on the ship who notices when an iceberg is coming, or who leads you to safe harbors.
Yeah, yeah, very nice. I mean, that's
Excuse me.
bless you. Yeah,
Thank
certainly.
you.
We lost a big part when Agnelli left. It's a shame. You again. I don't know enough about it to know that. But do you think he'll ever come back?
I know he wants to. I think
I
it's
can
going
see
to be
that.
really difficult when his cousin holds the majority stake in Juventus. They
That's a
didn't
shame.
end off on good terms. Excuse me once again.
Bless you.
Uh, Thank you. They didn't end off on good terms, and I think if you ask them now separately, they say, "Yeah, we're still on speaking terms and we're cool and whatever." I don't think that's the reality of it all. And I think Andrea feels very betrayed by John Elkann. I think Andrea expected him to sit, the things we are going to sit that out, to take the hits for that, and then come back and restore, or be restored into former glory and restore Juventus. And up until now, he hasn't been given that chance, and there hasn't been any dialogue. And I think that's something that he doesn't appreciate.
Well done, sir. Well done. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode just as much as I did. Finally got a chance to catch up with our boy Frederic after a year and some change on the podcast. We got to sit down and talk about very interesting stuff. I think we learned a lot here, didn't we, kids? Oh, sorry. Oh. The kids love Frederic. Somebody says bless you in the comments. Everybody who stayed with us, thank you so much. youtube.com/Turin Giants official. Join us next time for our many shows. Unfortunately, we'll have a lot of time in between episodes now, aren't we? Juventus are out from about any competition they were in except Serie A. But of course, we'll be bringing you guys the transfer show, the scoop. Go to TurinGiants.com. Please purchase this shirt. Of course, this show, After Hours, there will be more guests. We will be interviewing other people from the podcast to give you guys a chance to become friends with them on maybe more than just a podcast level. Love it. Frederic, any last words? Anything you
No,
want guys, you want people to know?
Thank you guys so much for having me. And if there's anything that you'd like to know after this episode or whatever, feel free to DM me on the Scoop Juve on Instagram or whatever, or just ask in chat next time you see my ugly mug for a post game or whatever. And I just wanted to say, shout out to the whole team, Zach, Gav, Jack, Damiano, Patrick, and you, Farhad, for making this happen. And
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for, blessing me with this honor to be in 100+ episodes deep. So thank
Honor's
you.
all
Thank the
mine.
guys. Thank the guys in chat for sticking with us and making me feel kind of special at times, even though we go through rough patches, Juventus-wise. So
We're only getting
credits to you
started,
guys.
baby. We're
We
only
are.
getting started. I appreciate you, sir. All right,
Appreciate it, bro.
my friend Frederic, I forgot to mention.
I have a very big testicles.
Boys and girls, check on your friends, stay hydrated, and Forza Juve.
Purple Finest.
Yeah, siamo finiti in B, gli unici a pagare per calciopoli. Yeah, e qui non ci piove, che nel cuore di scudetti sono 29. Voglio tutto e tutti, solo per seguirti. Bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero. Un solo grido, dalla curva si alzerà. Bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero.
If she doesn't remember the song, she's too young for you, bro.
Per niente nulla al mondo, abbandonerò sta squadra. Tra tutte quante di fissa più